Hail, it is I, Anthony the Canadian Guy, and welcome to Wrestlesode. Today we're going to be chatting with the CWE Central Canadian Heavyweight Champion, Berat Gorani. That's right, formerly known as the Spaceman. I spoke with him a couple of years ago, but a lot of things have happened to him, obviously. The pandemic was a big shift for him in terms of his character, so we get to sit down and we get to chat a little bit about that, what he's been up to, how the pandemic has treated him, and of course, we get to learn a little bit more about who is Berat Gorani, your CWE Central Canadian Heavyweight Champion. Now, if you are listening to this on May 24th, over on our Twitch channel, we're going to be interviewing live tonight at 8 p.m. Mountain Time, TJ Cannon. So that's going to be really fun. So if you guys want to tune into that, that will be going live tonight at 8 p.m. If this is in the past, well, if it's in the past, it'll probably be uploaded to the Canadian Wrestling Archive anyways. Which reminds me, if you haven't yet, remember to hit that subscribe button or like and leave a comment if who's someone you would like to see interviewed here over on Wrestlesode. We always take those into account, and we reach out to lots of different people. A lot of really exciting things are going to be happening here over the next little while, and I can't wait to share all of that with you. But for right now, let us chat with Berat Gorani with no more interruptions. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, we're here with Berat Gorani. We'll have done obviously a proper introduction and everything, so we can just kind of get straight right into this. Buddy, it has been like 2+ years since we've last chatted. Obviously, things have changed dramatically. We went through a pandemic. There was a period of no wrestling. There was a period of a giant change in your life. How have you been over these last 2 years?
I've been fantastic, man. Nothing to complain about. I'm doing good. After these the time in between was rough, but right now I'm actually doing really good. Looking forward to everything.
Fantastic. When did you start wrestling again? Because I know everybody kind of had their stop and then start back up again. When did that happen for you exactly?
I think whenever I started appearing on RCW again, it was like mid-2021, I believe.
Mid-2021. And then
the clandestine episode, when I came back for episode 3, was my actual return. So it'd be mid-2021, August, I think.
That's awesome. So you've been going pretty strong here for at least the last half a year or so.
Yeah, I've been trying to, taking anything that comes my way.
Well, so I know previously you used to live further up north. You have obviously transitioned. You've moved towards the Edmonton area, a lot more centralized. Is that been helping with the bookings?
Right now, yeah. I moved here right as the pandemic started, pretty much.
Yeah,
bad timing.
Bad time. Well, at least it seems to be working for you now. I mean, you are now the CWE Central Canadian Heavyweight Champion. Nice, big title there. How did something like that come along? When did you start wrestling for CWE?
CWE, I've been wrestling since I've started wrestling.
Yeah,
it was my 4th match, I believe, for them, and then I've been with them ever since.
When did you actually end up winning that title back? Or winning the title?
And January, I think it was. January 20th. 20th was the winning GP.
That's amazing. Who was the match? Like, who did you face?
Me versus Cheetah, Bear, Jude Dawkins.
Oh, nice. Fantastic.
I've been attacking him constantly throughout until I got my match.
Paid off for you. You're walking away with the champ.
Nothing dirty by me, by the way. Wink.
So that kind of brings me into a little bit something here. So obviously, last time we chatted, you were a completely different individual, at least in terms of the wrestling persona. You were the Spaceman, but now you're Berat Gorani. I was trying to say it was Barry Grayson before. It's just so hard to remember back and forth now.
Yeah, it's a good change. Pretty soon everyone will forget about Spaceman.
Yeah.
He got COVID. He's done.
He's done with. So let's talk about Berat Gorani. So what was the inspiration, obviously?
This was always the goal kind of thing, but like point of wrestling, I think it was time. I was finally comfortable. The pandemic was the perfect timing to kind of let everybody forget about that, come back as a new person kind of thing.
That's great.
I think at first it was pretty rough. I didn't really figure out what I was doing with it, and now I kind of have a better idea where I want this to go.
Well, this is coming from your heritage, right? Because you're Albanian, correct?
Yeah. Like I was born there and everything, so I can fluently speak it. So I can use that. And I'm just using like the old, like 60s way they dress and act, kind of thing is what I'm kind of going off of.
So you're just kind of like paying homage more to your heritage and things like that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
That's so cool. So like, so is Berat Gorani, like, is that the more correct way of saying the name, or like that's what you had originally envisioned, kind of a thing? Am I saying it correctly, by the way?
Yeah, it's close enough as people get. It's Berat Gorani, but like
Berat Gorani, like that?
the vowels are the what makes it hard for Canadians to say, kind of thing.
Oh, because they're more pronounced, kind of a thing. They don't come
A
in so
little bit, yeah.
softly.
Like we pronounce every letter, kind of thing, and there's so many silents in English. It's crazy.
Oh, English is a really difficult language, but I gotta say, there's so many difficult languages out there.
I don't know if I have learned it all yet.
I mean, I still just mess up with it, and I learned it when I was like 4 or 5. So I'm like, but so how has wrestling been otherwise though? So you've been wrestling for CWE, you're wrestling for RCW. Are you just trying to get your foot in the door everywhere, basically?
Anywhere that calls, man, I'm willing to make it out there, kind of thing. So if you want to see me anywhere, like let them know, take me and stuff. I guess I'm always like keeping an eye on what's coming up, what kind of companies are coming to town or within like driving distance.
Are you looking
Doesn't
to do any
matter.
traveling outside of the Alberta area, or at least the Edmonton area?
Oh yeah. I'm kind of BC would be nice to get back out to. I went out there with CWP and I've seen like upcoming companies there. Going out to Saskatchewan and stuff would be nice again.
When was the last time you did a tour like that, I guess, with CWE?
2019.
Oh, okay. So what places did you end up stopping, I guess? Because that would have been a pretty big tour because CWE goes everywhere.
Everywhere. I like started in small towns in Saskatchewan, came through to Alberta, went all the way to Richmond, just underneath, like south of Vancouver, and then
Right.
back down southern BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan.
How
And then
long?
go
How long did that take you?
it was 2 weeks for me. They did like 30 days. I only did half.
You kind of jumped in halfway, kind of did the route and
Yeah.
stuff. Were you just like carpooling with a bunch of the guys and stuff, or how did you move
No,
around?
I drove out there, met them, and then the first time, the 2018 tour is like me. Uh, I had a bunch of people with me, kind of thing, and then the 2019 are pretty much just me because they all had pretty much figured out their own ride situation. So I came a little late.
You're just like, well, I guess I got to get there.
All,
What was one of your favorite places to wrestle out of? Was there any like surprise places out of BC or Saskatchewan? You're just like, that was just way too fun.
I don't
They kind of all blend together when you're doing 2 weeks
Yeah,
straight,
it's pretty
essentially.
much just go hit the next town, kind of thing. And Saskatchewan, I think Saskatoon was a pretty fun crowd.
Saskatoon. They seem like a pretty backwards crowd. Every single time I've seen them like cheer, they are always cheering weirdly.
It could have been Saskatoon or Regina. After I see the venue again to tell you, but I'm pretty positive it was Saskatoon. And I don't know. I had a good time out there.
Perfect. Are you doing any wrestling coming up here anytime soon?
Yeah, this weekend in Edmonton actually for RCW.
Oh, fantastic. I guess that would be on Saturday?
Saturday, yeah, and usually I show up sometimes on Fridays, the occasional Friday here and then at Calgary.
Fantastic. Who are you wrestling this weekend?
I don't know yet.
Oh, you're just...
Whoever wants to lose.
Whoa, there's some big words right there. So, questions for you. So, obviously, over the last 2 years, things, like I said, have changed dramatically for you. In terms of, like, actual wrestling, do you feel like, you're more in your zone now that everything has kind of changed? Do you still feel like you're still trying to put the pieces together with this character change, or do you really feel like now it's kind of, like, really hitting home?
I still feel like I'm a bit of both. I'm still putting everything together. I'm still finalizing the character, but, like, the in-ring stuff is starting to come a little bit more fluently of where I, like, so to speak, of, like, what I want my character to do. I'm trying to not do too much of the same stuff I did as a Spaceman.
Right.
Trying to tweak it up, and every then I'll throw in some old Spaceman moves, but like I'm trying to just
Like the
steer
top
away.
rope elbows and stuff like that?
I climb up to the top rope, tell the crowd to go.
Yeah, and then you just jump back down.
Don't do anything.
Oh, that's amazing. What kind of moves are you doing now? Like, do you have, like, new types of finisher? Are you trying to play more technical, or are you trying to stay more grounded?
More brawler kind of thing, more vicious, but you're just not too much high flying is what I'm trying to get limited.
Right, of course. So what we're seeing is more death match is going to be happening kind of thing. No. You're just
Not
like,
my thing at all.
only aggression, but only when it's on them, not on you, essentially.
No. I might do a hardcore match here and there if the timing is right, but that's just not usually my style of wrestling.
You're just more into it for like the fun. Is that still the plan here with wrestling? Are you still planning to stay within like the Alberta scene, or would you still love to just expand out of there and just try your hand anywhere, essentially?
Anywhere I can wrestle, I'm always looking to expand, go different places, kind of thing.
Have you thought about like you're just like, man, I'm just gonna disappear for a month and just go to like Chicago or something, just see what happens?
Every day, but it's so hard. I got a family, right? I can't.
I completely understand.
Man, I gotta like really think of everything down to the last like small thing, I guess, so to speak.
Yeah, it's got to be perfectly planned. Somewhere without snow so you don't have any tripping and stuff like that. I did see the video. That was so hilarious, by the way.
That happens to the best of us, right? It's your Canada winter or your Canada spring in the middle of March.
It just gets so icy here. Is it what it's like up there in Edmonton right now? Did you guys get hit with a big dump of snow like we did?
Yeah, we got hit with a big snowfall there. It was so nice the day before, and I opened the door in the morning and here with all the snow that was covering some ice.
I feel so bad. Like, I was in Edmonton on Friday because I went up to the LPW show and I was just there for the night. But like, driving up there was beautiful. Like, the next morning I wake up, just snow everywhere. I was like, what?
You never know what you're going to expect in Alberta.
I suppose. I mean, it's snowing here. I don't even know how.
You're in Calgary, right?
Yeah, just east of Calgary, just like a tiny little town.
I spent 3 months training there. You never know what kind of weather. It's probably worse there.
I mean, Calgary is just insane. Where I come from, I really feel like I'm in a completely different biome. You can have like a sunny day in Calgary, and where I am, it's like a blizzard, and I'm only like 30 minutes away.
That's how Calgary was. Rain, snow, sunshine, all in one day.
Oh, I know. So it's been a long time. So obviously you're one of the people who obviously trained with Lance Storm, going back to your training and stuff. Are you still doing like side training and practices every so often, or are you really just focusing on the in-ring stuff right now?
When I originally wanted to move here just to focus on training and everything. And then COVID hit. And after a while, they kind of opened it up again and I started going to training. And at training, I ended up getting pretty hurt, broke my heel. So me and training haven't been getting along very much.
What happened in training? Did you just like land bad or something?
Just practicing some stuff. I jumped at the top and just shattered my heel.
A more reason not to do the top rope stuff, I suppose.
Yeah,
right?
That's why he's out with. So after that, I kind of sat at home pretty much. It was kind of a dark time there, but we bounced back and I trained a little bit here and there, but now I bought a house here. I'm settling down. It's kind of hard for me to make it all the way to Edmonton every day as much as I'd like to. I'm just kind of focusing on getting like working out and my in-ring stuff and character work right now. I'm just trying to get as many shows in.
That's a really great idea. Are you doing that thing like I do, just kind of talk to yourself in the mirror, just practicing constantly your promos? I know it sounds ridiculous, but I mean, that's a good way to practice. So
if you're a wrestler, everyone's done it that way, where if I'm driving, I'm looking at myself in the mirror half the time, or if I got my phone on me, I'll just record something real quick. I'm still not comfortable with the way I sound in a recording, you know?
No, it takes a long time. I still hate my voice. I've been doing this for like 12 years. Like, I've just been talking. Do you do the thing like I do where like you're just in the middle of just doing something and you'll think of like a good part for a promo just like halfway through a sentence, and no matter, you just kind of cut into it and you're just like, oh, that was really great, and then you just kind of go into your promo and then you come back and it's like, I am so ADD or something like that.
I constantly get ideas like that, but I have to get better at writing them down. Because like I'll have, like you said, a really good idea in the middle of a conversation with someone, and I can't just be like, "Yo, give me 1 second." It's
always in like the weirdest places where it happens, right? Where you just get the inspiration.
Like when you're ready for bed, you're half asleep. All the great ideas come.
For me, it's in the middle of a shower, like where I definitely don't have a pen and electronics available in handy for me to try to. You like jump out of the shower, you're like, I'm trying to do this. You're like freezing. Is it like the water's dripping all over the place? Creativity is a fun.
All those ideas.
Oh, being creative is just a fun little beast. What do you do like for like to get your creative juices flowing? Everybody's got different types of hobbies and stuff, and so you got to be doing something outside of just being a dad and wrestling and stuff like that. I mean, what else do you do for fun?
Right now, it's not too much. I used to be a lot more active, whether it be playing like basketball or just getting out as much as I could. Right. Nowadays, it's just pretty much work, hit the gym, and come home.
Fair enough.
Play with the little one, and that's where all the creativity comes from. Stuff she says.
Well, last time we spoke, I know that you were making the best pizzas in Grand Prairie, probably just across Alberta. What is it happening, or like, what are you doing for your work these days? If you're willing to talk about that.
Yeah. Now I'm just working with concrete, so completely opposite for pizza. But every time I go back up for a show in GP, I make sure to stop there and get some of that Ramona's pizza.
I've only heard of the amazing things of this place that, like, you know, it's funny because before I did what I do now, which is in fraud and working in a bank fraud, I don't do bank fraud, I'm anti-bank fraud, but anyways, I worked with people in Grand Prairie and they would always talk about Ramona's Pizza. They were like, that was their thing.
100%. It's been there. I think it's the second longest running restaurant in GP, actually.
Oh, geez.
And it's a little family-owned place.
Is that how you like? Did they just teach you how to make the best pizzas like in the world, essentially?
I don't know if it's best in the world, but it's pretty damn good.
Best in Alberta. I hold the title of, it's a completely like my own title where I say I'm the best chess player in Alberta wrestling. Do you hold the best pizza maker in all of Alberta wrestling?
The best, yeah, best pizza maker. That's my new gimmick right there.
There you go. We'll call you Luigi or something. So in terms of wrestling, what are some things you still would like to do? And like, obviously you're coming back. Your style has changed a little bit, but you know, obviously you've still got aspirations and things you'd love to do. So like, what kind of things is that you'd love to try next?
Starting right now, it's I'd like to get rid of this guy who's a little pain, like the sore side to my behind. I guess not to swear on your show.
Go for it. I don't. At this point, it's fine.
Kelly here. I kind of want to get rid of that guy coming up here.
Is that in RCW or in CW?
Yeah, if you saw anything online, I kind of brought him in as the only Canadian I trust, and then I saw him getting greedy, so I'd get rid of him. And now it's becoming pretty personal. Not to give anything away, you'll just pay attention to it, I guess. But like on the bigger picture that we talked about, I'd like to get out a bit more throughout Canada, and it doesn't really matter what company or. There's certain guys I want to wrestle everywhere, right? I follow a bunch of them online, and it's like Saskatchewan's got a couple tough guys. I want to go out there, BC, hell, even like out to Winnipeg and like the Maritimes, anywhere, even in space, potentially, right? It's just a little harder to get out there.
Fair. Well, throw some names out there. Throw the gauntlet down right now. Let it be known. Like who's Berat coming for?
Here in our province, I guess we can start here.
Sure.
Guys like Metal would be someone I'd love to have a match with. Who else? I'm just thinking of people I haven't really had matches with. I got an upcoming match with Michael Richard Blaze. I think it's gonna be like my first one-on-one with him. Over in like Saskatchewan, Michael Allen, Richard Clark, Mick Sugar, Sean Moore is another guy I'd like to get in with. Son of Irish is another guy I'd like to have a singles match with here.
I would love that.
All the way to Winnipeg is like Mentolo. I'd like to have a one-on-one match with him.
Right.
And there's a bunch of like names that just come and go. You know what I mean? It's just you putting me on the spot here, and I'm like, crap, I gotta remember everybody that I want to wrestle.
That's fine. As long as we get some of those names out in the world, you know, hopefully we'll get them out there, right?
Sean Moore and Alexander Prime are two other guys that were in Saskatchewan and Alberta.
Oh, for sure.
Who I've always wanted to wrestle, kind of thing.
I saw Moore wrestle live, like I said, on Friday at the LPW show, and I don't know, that guy's just gotten more and more intense. That would be intense. He's such an intense wrestler. It's insane.
So, who would you want me to see, like wrestle? Who do you want me to wrestle next?
You know, it's really funny because I look at you and I know for a fact that you are a giant human. Like, you are not a small guy, right? Like, you're like,
a lot of people don't notice that until they're close to me.
Right? And trust me, I've known these things. You're like, what, 6'4"? Like 6'3", 6'4"? Like, it's 6'4". I just would love to see you just like scrap with a lot of the big guys, especially right now that you're in more brawler stances. Like a Sean Moore, for instance, I know you would be towering over Sean Moore, but his intensity, I think, kind of like matches in that regard. But then even beyond that, like you said, like a heavy metal, a bigger guy like that. And then like just even around Alberta, there are so many like giant humans that I would just love to see you scrap with.
Throw some names out.
Like Andre. Like, do you remember Andre?
I do.
Andre would be really fun. I think he's a little bit taller than you, but I think with that, you definitely got the speed advantage there, and there'd just be so much fun. And not even on top of that, even wrestling some of the smaller guys out there, like you said, a Michael Richard Blaze, I think would be amazing to see. There's just like not a lot of people who are currently like your size. You know what I mean? You're like the Dijakovic of Alberta.
The who, sorry?
The Dijakovic of Alberta, the Donovan Dijak.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that would just be like
a match.
God, now talk about a match. I would love to see that match. That would be a great match. That would be amazing.
I think he's over somewhere in Europe from there too as well.
I think so, yeah. That's where I think the name came from anyways.
I see what you're doing.
Well, I mean, hey, at the end of the day, it's fine. European Clash is just another one, right? Instead at this point. But
speaking of small, I like the big, small kind of matches too. They're actually pretty fun to have. Like, I've had a couple of good matches with like Mars over in RCW, who's making a name for himself. He's a lot of fun. Stephen Crow, even Zoë Sager. I'd like to have like a one-on-one match. We've only been partners, I believe. I don't think we've ever been opponents.
I think back in PWA days, you and Sager had teamed together for something, right?
What's that?
If back in PWA days, you and Sager had teamed together for something.
Yeah, like when we first both made our debut there, we kind of got put together as a taking for a bit against Cat and Bobby.
There you go. Oh, another good one. I would love to see you against Tony Machete, just because of the size difference there. I think that could be just a fun match. I think that could be really fun to watch.
We had a good little triple threat not too long ago. Me, him, and Nate, Nasty Nate.
How did that go? Was that a big win?
That's all right. I think it'd be better if it was one-on-one kind of thing. Multi-man matches sometimes can get out of hand, but it was good.
Is that what you prefer? Is that your favorite type of match? Is the good old singles match?
Right now, yeah, because I did like the tag team stuff for so long and all that. It just not so long, but you know what I mean. I feel like I've had more tag matches, and I kind of want to focus more on like singles matches and try getting those down.
Oh, I mean, when I think about it, like my first probably 2 years of you was as a tag wrestler. So like when I first thought of that, it's like, oh, it's kind of like a tag, kind of like how I still think of Jeff Hardy as a tag wrestler. It's been years.
I still think of the Hardy Boys as
you know what?
wrestlers.
I know it's like it's been forever, but I still think of them as that, even when they were kind of going singles. But with you, it's a lot easier because I get to like hang out with you and I get to know you. But I'm still excited to watch my first Berat Gorani match because unfortunately I still haven't seen one live.
Seen any live?
Not live, unfortunately. Online, I've been able to see them, but nothing live. I'm super upset about that. Are you gonna be coming to Calgary anytime soon? You let me know when that happens. I'll make sure I actually hit those shows up because it's still like 45 minutes. Next Friday.
Next Friday, I'll get back to you on that.
Well, let's hope on for that. All right, so so we've been doing really great here. There's been a lot of great questions that I've been seeing coming into chat here, so I'm gonna start collecting some of them up, and maybe we'll start moving into the Q&A section here. So we're gonna take like a quick little 2-minute break while that kind of gets added up here, and then we'll go from there. So let's take a quick 2-minute break.
Sounds good.
Perfect. This is awesome.
Yeah, I just realized I've been rocking in my chair every day now. When I see the camera move, I'm like, no.
It's totally okay because it's like kind of like keeping my like focus. You know what I mean? Like if something is too static, you tend to like look away. But when things move, you pay attention.
Yeah, like I'm trying to move like subtly, but every time I notice I'm like rocking, I'm like, oh no.
I haven't noticed, but is that a Bret Hart in the window right there?
Yeah.
Nice. It's just a little small for me.
Stuff. This is my wrestling wall. A couple of my favorite, obviously Randy Orton's in the middle. Like I had a buddy make this for me, kind of thing.
Well, that's really cool. Can we get like a zoom in on this? Can we see what this looks like?
For sure.
We get the behind the scenes while people get this. You get to see the cool wall.
Center, and then everybody else kind of guys who liked over the years.
So Randy's in the center. Is that your number one?
That's my number one.
Very cool. And it kind of just like expands out from there. So you got like your Romans, your Eddies. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah, I'm a big Roman guy even before he did his big run. Seth Rollins. It's funny, Ambrose is like the one I like the least for some reason. I've never really liked his style.
I mean, I completely understand. Here's the thing. I actually grew to like hate Seth Rollins because as I came back into wrestling back in 2016, I was a big Finn Balor guy. I wasn't watching main roster. I was watching NXT. And I was watching what Balor was doing. So when Balor got called up in the draft and he immediately went into that feud with Seth Rollins and got hurt, I was like, oh, now I hate Seth because he took my guy out. I was so upset.
Injuries happen, man.
I know. But it made me upset. So I just started to hate him. So I would cheer for his opponents. You know how it is.
It's all good. You're turning around on him.
He's fantastic. No, now I think he's amazing. I actually love the work he's doing. People were talking about how what is he doing with all this costumes and wearing these suits and everything. I think it's fantastic.
I love the Messiah thing that he's doing or whatever he's going with.
He's amazing at everything he does.
He comes out.
The only person who I think right now, I just love watching more, no matter what he's doing, is Sami Zayn. I don't know. Sami Zayn is just
everything work. Anything he's given.
Everything he's given is always just knocked out of the park. He could be made to be the most obnoxious character in the world, and it's still the best. And he does really well with it.
What you want out of your guys, man? I wish I had that ability.
You can happen. He's Canadian, man. You guys, obviously, it's you share that blood. There you go. Here across Canada. All right. So we got some questions here. This one came in. Everybody talks about how good your pizzas are. What are some dishes you love making, but people don't know how good they are? So, outside of pizza, what's your thing?
Oh wow, I'm more of a breakfast kind of guy. I love sausage and eggs kind of thing, and then any type of rice dish with any stir fry type of things. I try keeping it clean.
This brings me to a good question. Is there any specific like Albanian breakfasts that you still enjoy and that you share with your family?
Not too many like breakfasts, but more like the main courses kind of thing. My wife's from there as well, so we kind of like to bring some of those dishes back. Most of the stuff is like pastries and stuff, so it's not too great for you, so we're kind of limited. But they're called pita, which is just like rolls of pastry stuff, and they can be stuffed with like spinach and feta and all sorts of stuff.
I guess I don't really even know what the cuisine of there, but I guess it would still be like kind of Mediterranean.
I wouldn't know what main dish is there either.
You know,
they do all drink like this black tea a lot, which is actually pretty good.
Fantastic. Is there a favorite dish that you have that comes out of Albania that you're just like, this is my favorite thing?
The thing I just described to
That's
you,
what it is, yeah?
Roll with the spinach and stuff. I don't know why. You can make it like the rolls, or you can just make it like a big round dippable terrapor. I don't know. It's really good. I love all foods, though. I'm not picky, right?
It's so hard to kind of explain some like specific cultural dishes to people because
100% without having it to show you, to be like, hey, here's what it is. Try it, and I can tell you what's in it. But like trying to describe it without having you've never seen it before, it's kind of hard.
Like, for instance, as a French Canadian, as me, my favorite dish is a food called gratin, which is a meat spread that you put over bread and stuff like that. But it's made from like pork and cinnamon, and like when you just say that combination, people are like, "What?" But
as soon as you said cinnamon, I'm like, "Oh."
it's super strange, right? It's the most delicious thing in the world, and as soon as you eat it, you go, "Oh my god, well, how have I never eaten this before?" But you try to explain it to somebody, it does not work.
Bring it to the next show. I'll have it afterwards, right?
There you go. I'll make sure to do that. Here's the fun one. Can you cut an in-character promo on me, please?
Who asked this?
Shout asked this question. So wrestling rodeo asked that question. They want you to cut a promo on me.
Okay. On you.
Yeah, like just tear into me.
All right, let's see here. As you're catching me off guard, what do I want to be mean to Anthony? He's always been so nice to me, but
talk about how too nice of a guy. Maybe I'm just fake or something.
Hey, don't interrupt me when I cut a promo on you. Anthony, të jeni djali matchëm. Unë thirr më të mirin këtë e jeton me këta kanadez. Thirr më shumë shqiptarët e Evropës. If you want better ratings, you call the son of Kosovo, Anthony, and you get rid of all these stupid Canadians you've had on this show, the rich kings, the thicknesses. You bring a real man like me.
That was very intimidating. That's a very aggressive language, hey?
No, actually, it's very, very soft-spoken. If you actually hear me, like, speaking to my wife or somebody.
It's just very casual.
I just try adding, like, to make it seem more aggressive, and since people don't know what I'm saying, it comes off a little bit more.
So you're just like adding weird pauses to make it sound more aggressive at like specific spots. So if you were Albanian, they'd be like, "Why is he talking like that?"
Yeah, I usually speak quiet and very fast.
Oh, fair. So it's actually just like a very soft, beautiful language.
It's just me changing it up. It's just like how I speak English. If I'm cutting a promo kind of thing, I have to be a little deeper voice, ruder.
I have a question for you as a person. Like you said, you were born over there, but you've been in Canada for such a long time. Do you think in English now, or do you still think in Albanian?
I think in English.
How was that a hard switch for you? Like, did it like one day you were just like, oh, I'm thinking in English?
I never knew. I didn't realize that. It just ended up happening because I moved here like just a month before turning 7, so I can still speak it fluently, and like meeting my wife has helped a lot, like get the language back. But for the most part, I spoke English to my siblings in school, everybody. So like English is just the way I think and everything. So like even cutting a promo sometimes in Albanian can be a little hard because I'm like quickly translating everything.
So you have to actually translate back to Albanian now. So that's no longer natural for you now. Hey?
I have to be there for like a bit. Like I'd go take vacation for like 2 months, and I realized I started thinking in Albanian. But I have to be there for quite a bit for that to activate.
It's such a weird thing. When I went to like France for like a week, by the end of it I was slowly starting to think in French again, but then I was like, this is not me because I've never done this before.
You speak French too? That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so I was actually, first language was French. I spoke English when I was like, learned it when I was like 4 or 5, but I'm actually in ESL, but like I don't think in French at all. In fact, my French is just absolutely garbage. But when you're there, like you said, for a little bit of time, it starts like that's what you hear, that's what you think.
Yeah, if you're like around that, or if I'm speaking in Albanian for a bit, then it just starts coming. It just starts going on its own.
Do you think when you're around other Albanians, does your accent change to be like more Albanian? Like, does that happen?
No, but they notice I have an accent. Like it's funny because like some people say I have an English accent, and then some people when I go back home, I now have an accent back there. So it's kind of like, where do I fit in?
They're just like, you've become so westernized. Get out of our house.
I'm so forward in both places. You know?
All right, next question here. I love this one. So, what's the worst pizza you have encountered? Because obviously you make the best pizzas. Like, you want to throw some
You're gonna
shade?
hate this. So I toured Italy back in 2015,
Mm-hmm.
and some of their pizzas that we tried there were absolutely horrendous because I got so used to the Western style of like thick pizzas with heavy cheese and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They just drenched the sauce in the middle of their pizza. Very little toppings. It's soggy and wet. I hated it.
I couldn't agree with you more. So I had the worst experience when I went to Italy. Like, I had the best pasta in my life, and then I also had like the worst pasta in my life. I was in like a small little port town called Bari, Italy, and they had this spaghetti that was like a burnt spaghetti. That's what they called it, burnt spaghetti. Best spaghetti I've ever eaten in my life. I went to Rome and I wanted to eat with my girlfriend, and I was like, we're going to eat spaghetti on the streets of Rome, and it's going to be really romantic. We went to this nice place, and it felt like it was just came out of a can. Like, it was so gross spaghetti. I was
So,
like,
like you said, I found like smaller restaurants because I knew they'd be like family owned and I knew they'd be nicer. And,
that is the key. Don't go to tourist spots because you get the worst
so you've
food.
been to Rome. Were you disappointed by the Colosseum as well or no?
So I only went to the outside, and there was construction going on at that time. So like I only got to go around the side of it. But
No, so I went inside. I did one of those like pay to skip the line things because I wasn't waiting in one of those long lines.
right.
But like I'm a big fan of that time era kind of thing. I love movies and sort of that stuff.
Right.
But when I went in there and I saw how much you said like construction, renovation, it like became a theater, I was
It's
like,
just
oh no,
scaffolds.
they destroyed it all.
Yeah, no, it was really bad. Like, because I went through a couple of different countries, like Rome, and I also went through Greece. And Greece is a lot more depressing, unfortunately. Like, it's a beautiful country. There just is too much garbage everywhere. It's just literally everywhere. And they have beautiful statues.
Countries.
Pardon?
That's a lot of smaller countries in Europe. Where
I
there's,
know.
like, trash
I know.
everywhere.
And it's like feet just down the sides of the road for like miles. But like, and like, cause I know it's a poorer country and that's really sad. But like I would go there and like, I would go hit up these tourist spots and everything. And I was like, it's beautiful. Amazing statues in Greece. Amazing things happen in Greece. The locations were beautiful. I went to Olympia. I got to see where the Olympics were started. Like,
I'm jealous. Like I want to go to Greece pretty bad.
it was really cool. I went to Santorini and I went to the black sand beaches. Like, it was a really cool experience. But there's just a lot of just collapsed rock. Like, that's a lot of it. It's just the rubble of what was once an amazing empire. And like, hey, look at this crumble of rock. This was what this used to be. And that was also so depressing. Because you're like, I want to see what this would be like, you know?
True, but if you're not going to see it in its glory kind of thing, I'd rather just see it not being like maintained and changed up completely.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the best part of Greece was definitely going into Olympia because that was a beautiful city and it's really well kept. And like, I went to the start of where the Olympics were, like the mountain, and I walked down the side of the mountain where they carried the torch to start the Olympics and stuff. And that was
Did they give you a torch?
no, I didn't get a torch, but you could see the torch where the torch light, and I could see the fire, like the fire where they hold the fire, the eternal flame, or whatever they call it. Like I saw that. That was super cool. But like that was probably one of the coolest parts. That or drinking a lot of alcohol and eating Mediterranean pizzas on the black sand beaches of Santorini.
If you're not on tour, like if you're visiting and you're not drinking, are you really like touring?
I was like, I'm staying on the beach. I'm here for like 3 days. They're black sand beaches, so they're way too hot. Like they emit crazy amounts
They're
of
hot
heat.
for you.
Yeah, I'm such a baby. Like just little, my feet just like are on fire constantly. But I was like, people were just.
The winter and the summer here.
I am very much a winter guy. Like I'm just built for the winter.
Oh, don't say that, Anthony. Come on.
I'm just too Canadian. I'm just too Albertan. I went to Vancouver. I couldn't stop sweating for the entire time I lived there because it was too humid. It was just like I would wake up moist. It was gross. All right, next quick question here. Do you draw on other wrestlers through history for inspiration when developing your character? If so, which wrestlers would you say are the most influential for you? You're like, there's that wall.
Randy Orton's always been like one of my favorites. The Rock was the one who got me into wrestling. I love his the way he cuts a promo. If I could ever get there, I would totally want to cut a promo with how confident The Rock is.
It takes a very special type of person to be able to cut a promo that confidently.
Only him.
Like him, there's just him. Austin is another one where it just doesn't matter what you say, or it doesn't matter. Eddie Kingston is probably
he's also got confidence.
That guy can cut a promo. I don't know. It's pretty insane. But there's even great people out there like MJF, where you can tell in 20 years that guy is going to be able to cut the most intense promo, but there's still a little hesitation. Do you know what I mean? There's still that little hesitation when you hear him talk sometimes, and it's he's going to get there, man. But actually, this brings me to a quick question for you. So throughout history, I actually couldn't name very many Albanian wrestlers other than probably the
Authors of Pain.
Yeah, the Authors of Pain. Yeah, Akim and Razor. Was there any other ones really that are well known?
No, it's not really a well-known thing over there. I was trying to be the first, but Razor had to beat me to it.
Well, that's true. Well, one of them is Canadian, one is from Albania, but they were both Albanian, right?
Canadian Indian, and then the other one's born in Kosovo, just like I am, but he lives in Holland.
Oh, okay. So he's still out in Europe then. Well, there you could still be the first Canadian one then. There you go. So, quick question. So Albania, it's nowhere near close to Canada. In terms of size, how big would you say it is comparatively, if you were to stick it in the middle of Alberta?
So Albania's a little bigger. I'm from Kosovo, which is directly north from it.
Right.
They used to be the same country.
Oh, okay.
All that stuff, but because we finally got our independence, we're not allowed to go back to Albania to join up. So we're our own little country now. But you can get across Kosovo in 3 to 4 hours in a car drive.
What's the population of that?
Well, quite big, actually. I wouldn't know off the top of my head, but they're shocked when I tell them I drove 5 hours to go to a show.
And they're 3 countries away or something? And you're no.
Yeah, that's how they think of it. I'm no, we're still in the same province. I even left Alberta.
It really is amazing just how big Canada is. It is a huge place.
My uncle come here in a visitor's visa, sorry. There's a highway between Whitecourt, when you leave and go to GP. That's 13.5 kilometers of straight road. And just nothing. Nothing. It's just straight road. And it blew his mind.
And he's just where did they put everyone? Where is everyone? We can hide. All right, here's another fun one. If you could wrestle one historical figure and assume they are fully trained in wrestling, who would it be and why? So obviously you're a big fan of the Roman times. You want to fight Alexander or something in a wrestling match?
Give me my guy Spartacus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I've always wanted to know the truth.
Who is Spartacus?
Yeah, give me my guy. We'll battle in the Dome.
Talk about. Did you actually? Were you in the most recent Battle in the Dome show?
I was.
Yeah, I have completely forgotten to ask about that because I'm just the worst person in the world. How did that go for you? Because that's a huge thing.
Really good. We got actually lucky that they dropped the mandates because I believe if they didn't drop the mandates, it would have been a lot harder.
Right.
But this time around, there was actually more people that stuck around to watch the show and everything.
I was so sad I was away that weekend. I was I was the worst weekend because it was the AEW show and the Battle in the Dome too, and I wasn't home that weekend. Sorry.
Yeah, we got to cut promos during the hockey game this time, live and whatnot, and then we had a lot of more people stuck around this time, and it ended up being a better show. We had the camera set up, and even in the back, no masks, and then the mandates kind of helped us be more relaxed and plan everything out.
What was your match that you had there?
I was in the 10-man match on Team Sean Moore.
Nice.
Against Team Striker.
Who actually ended up winning that match?
Team Striker. I got eliminated the Cowboy. Sorry, he's gonna hate me now. The Rhinestone Cowboy.
Fair.
And I got eliminated by the Vampire Gabriel right after.
Oh man. Well,
here's your bright moment, Omen fan. He got one on me.
That's the only one he's getting though, right?
I'll get him back.
You'll get him back. There's another match that we have to line up. You got to get your revenge now. Do you know if PWA is planning any more shows in the next little bit here? Do you have any idea?
I wish.
Yeah.
I can tell that. I've been bugging bugging them, hey, we gotta get back. Everybody's kind of over all this. Let's get back on the road. But
Right. And I mean, like, they just did the Dome show, get that, like, keep that momentum going kind of thing, right?
True. We'll be back, though.
Of course. I can't wait, man. The day that you guys re-announced that Cedar Brae show for Calgary, I'm going to be so excited because, like, that's, like, my big show. Like, that's the one I used to go to Calgary for all the time was my PWA shows. But,
better be there, man.
Now the reason I wasn't going was for the same reason everybody else. There was a bunch of restrictions and mandates, and I'm like, you know what I mean?
At first, I don't blame anybody. At first, everyone was worried. We didn't know what it was or how to react. But like, I think now we've kind of got a better understanding and better control of it. I think the world should just go back to opening up now.
At this point, I think more people are just thinking it's like it's gone at this point. It's like it's definitely not gone, but as long as we pretend it doesn't exist, it's kind of like that episode of The Simpsons. Did you ever watch like the Treehouse of Horror episodes where like all the billboards came alive?
I watched like here and there, but I don't recall that episode.
There was just this episode where there was like, the way to make it go away is just don't pay attention to it. And they sing a song about just don't look at it and it goes away.
That's how it was. Everybody overreact like it's the worst thing, and we kept it around forever, and now no one cares, and it seems to be gone, right?
I mean, that's what it feels like, at least in Alberta. Like, you go to other places, they're still wearing masks all over the place. It's like, maybe...
In Alberta, there's a lot of people that still wear their masks, but I don't care. It's their choice.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. All right, next quick question here. That was right. You did Spartacus here. What is the meaning behind the crossed hands pose? That's actually a good question, because we see you do that every so often.
The Albanian flag.
Oh, is it like the bird?
The two-headed eagle, yeah. So it's like the same as I got it tattooed on me. So that was the Kosovo flag as well until we ended up getting our own independence and we had to get a new flag. So everyone still like symbolizes with that original flag, even though it's technically just Albania's.
What is the flag of Kosovo then?
It's just the map of Kosovo with like 6 stars around it, and they're claiming that there's still 6 countries that have part of their land, kind of thing.
Oh, is that what the stars represent?
Yeah.
What countries then make up that entire little area then? If I'm putting you on the spot again, I think.
Like around Kosovo?
Well, you said it's like 6 different countries that maintain land that you said belongs
they claim to.
I don't. Yeah.
It's too much to get into right now.
It's a big thing.
Political stuff.
Fair enough. But I guess so. It's just all the different countries, like kind of in that area. I guess the history is like they're all kind of.
So like, even Albania below us, the Macedonians, the Serbias, the Bosnias, I think is close to us. Montenegro. I don't know all of them.
Yeah, I feel like the worst person in the world, because really the most I know about Albania was from the movie Wag the Dog. If you've ever seen it.
I've never seen that actually. I thought you were going to say Taken.
Oh, I didn't. That's true. That is in Albania. I didn't even think about that. No, there's this movie called Wag the Dog, and it's all about it's all about faking the news to get people in an uproar about something. So like the movie is about like the president did like something really horrible or something like that, but they wanted to cover it on the news. So instead they started a war by going to a war with Albania. And like that was the whole movie, was just about.
Is it an older movie or no?
It's from like the 90s. It has Dustin Hoffman in it. It's a really good movie, but it's all about like them faking a war with Albania, and it's just this whole movie about this. And De Niro, and Robert De Niro's in it as well. And great movie.
I've never even heard of it.
But
I'll have to take a look. But yeah, like that, I thought you'd say Taken or like even like GTA 4. The bad guys were Albanian.
That's so true. It's funny because I don't even think about that, but I think of Wag the Dog, this political drama from the 90s.
It's something you watched.
Hey, it was a great movie. I watched it in social class, actually, because they were talking about it being about politics and how people can be manipulated by media, which is so pertinent and relevant these days.
Okay, stop giving away my strategy.
You should watch Wag the Dog. You could use it for inspiration. Oh, okay. Let's take a look here. I think that was it for all the different questions that we had here for today. But this actually ends at a perfect time then. So, dude, thank you so much for joining me here today. This was a really great little easy chat that we've had.
No worries, man. You're lucky we didn't go over the time.
I know. You would have had to charge me per the minute, as we were discussing before.
I'd drag you in the ring and make you pay next show.
Oh, hey, you know what? If you ever need a plant in the audience or something like that, I do want to take one of those like 2-day courses and stuff to learn how to at least take a bump. So if you ever need a plant in the audience to like kick his ass, I'm happily. You can kick my ass,
Hey,
man.
you know where to come. Come up to Top Talent, learn a little bit, and we'll get you ready.
Is that where you're doing some of your training still right now, or are you
That's
still
what I
taking?
tried doing the training, yeah.
Yeah,
But
perfect. Well, I
that's what
definitely
you learn.
I want to those 2-day training courses. I can only imagine that I would just get my ass whooped though. Like,
Only one way to find out.
oh man. I'm gonna be like the worst person there. Be like, yeah, just stick to commentary, Anthony. Be like, oh shit. Perfect, dude. Thank you again. Do you want to tell people where they can find you? Drop your links and your socials and where people can find all your cool stuff.
Sounds good. I'm trying to be more active here on all the social medias, but it's Berat Gorani KS on Twitter, Berat Gorani 7 on Instagram, and then Berat Gorani on Facebook. All three, I'm pretty active and usually tend to reply. Always down for a good conversation.
Fantastic, dude. Thank you again for joining me here today. This was just great. Every time we get to talk, it's always like just so much fun. We'll do it again here probably in like a year. Yeah, man. Well, we got to keep it up because now that everything is, like you said, reopening once again, we're going to probably see hopefully more shows opening up here. Yeah, it's something I want to talk to you about after we finish up here today quickly. But yeah, it'll be great times. And then this also goes up on the Canadian Wrestling Archive. So this is going to be seen more around Canada as well because everything's doing really well over there.
Sounds good. Get me all across Canada. I'm willing to go anywhere.
Perfect, buddy. Dude, thank you again. I will chat with you soon. Thank you once again to Berat Gorani for joining me here today. It's always a really good time chatting with him. Like I said, lots changed obviously with him since our first interview when he was the Spaceman. But like I said, always really great chats that I have with him. So I hope you enjoyed that here today. Once again, if you liked what you saw, remember to hit that subscribe button and leave a comment down below. Hit the like button. Turn on the notification bell if you haven't. You know, all those good things that really help out with us in the algorithm. We are doing very well here on the Canadian Wrestling Archive, and we want to continue to grow that. So thank you to everybody who has done everything so far in terms of liking, commenting, sharing. You guys are all the very best. I will chat with you all very soon. Remember, tonight over at twitch.tv/ Jupiter Vision, we're going to be doing our interview with TJ Cannon at 8 p.m. And of course, a big thank you to all of our sponsors here today: RK Athletics, Backbreaker Media, the Canadian Wrestling Archive, and of course, you know, Wrestling Rodeo. There's a lot of great ones that are there. You can always see that here on the side and listed down below. Much love to all of you, and we'll be back next Tuesday. So we'll see you then. Bye.